even your normal, more traditional housey people tend to want to do something, you know, hence the vacations. Everybody gets tired of the routines sometimes.
There are a lot of us out here. There are so many of us out here.
Right now out there across the country, there's 500 kids sitting at mom and dad's getting their first pack together to go out and do what we're doing.
People really don't say much. Like, they kind of just look and, you know, wow, what is this? Like, kind of look at us like we're, you know, aliens.
And my home is wherever I choose it to be. You know, I find my home. You know, I don't really find it in walls.
Spend most of my youth without hobo cruising, but all I got for proof is rocks in my pockets, dirt. My shoes so goodbye.
I've done it roughly 15 years on and off. I started real small, just little hitchhiking trips from my hometown in Indiana to Chicago and back. And when I was 22 years old, I did my first complete cross-country with nothing but my thumb expedition.
When I was about 16, Mom kicked me out of my house. I went down to Florida for a girlfriend. I met some guys, a guy named Nobody and Boxcar Bob put me on my first train, and I realized that I can make money just living on the road. Everything I need is provided.
You'll hear us called dirty kids, traveling kids. I prefer the term hitchhiker because that's my main mode of operation.
I left my home when I was a teenager because I couldn't handle being in an abusive environment.
I think some dirty kids end up doing that because they, you know, some choose it and some it's just thrust upon them, you know, and some, like us, really it's kind of a mix of the two, you know, like a circumstance led us to end up on the rails, but we choose to continue to do it, although we're given the option to, you know, maybe have a way to reform our lives and get a job, whatever. But
as far as money, there's a million different ways. Given the opportunity, I'll work odd jobs. I spend a lot of time flying signs. I like people to see my signs, smile, and there's a lot of us out there who have traveled at one point or another, and you get a lot of love that way from people who do the same thing you're doing or people who have done the same thing.
I do not support myself. Other people support me. I really pretty much, I live off the decency and charity of other people. I've had food stamps before.
He uses my food stamps. But when you do have food stamps, you share it with everyone.
They help.
We're all family. We kind of look at what we got in our pockets and everybody throws it in a pile, and then we figure out what we're going to try to do. You see more and more dirty kids who are have smartphones or internet devices. We have various internet groups where we can connect with one another.
And then there's always the old-fashioned way when, you know, you bump into each other, flying your sign or whatever.
It's such a wonderful feeling to see that your friends are alive and well, and you have another opportunity to share some time together.
Photographs of the past remind me in between the bad times. Happy sailors dancing on a sinking ship. Cloudy skies, dead fruit flies, waving goodbye with tears in their eyes.
Harrisburg in particular, it's not really a place you want to be. The cops are a little bit rough, and it can be hard to find a spot to camp down for the night unless you really know the area. There's two major ways you get here. It's a major spot to get dropped off hitchhiking because there's all these truck stops and
Train kids are getting pulled off all the time.
I've ran into a lot of kids. This just happens to be where they got kicked off the train.
A lot of kids have lost legs, you know, a lot of kids have died. you know, they modified the cars to make it less rideable, yeah. And you're basically, now kids are having to ride suicide. They're balancing on little beams, and it's not safe. And you got to get on a train. You're still going to get on. It's really pointless because they're doing this to stop rail deaths. But what they're really doing, they're making it much worse.
When I started doing it, it was a lot easier. Nowadays, yeah, there are a lot more bulls, but we always, I mean, we're ahead of the game. We'll always find a way. Come on, we're not here to hurt anybody. We're not here to rob anybody. We don't want to take anything from nobody. We're just being us. And a lot of people look at it differently.
They think that I should get a job, and they have the right to think that. And I think that maybe they should open their mind a little bit more and see that there are other options and other ways to survive. I didn't choose to be here, so I'm just kind of along for the ride.
We're just a bunch of lost kids.
Don't you know that I hate to leave you so long, babe? I got the flashback